the teams that he's faced and put up these big numbers against aren't on the level of the New Orleans Saints. So although I believe he can't be worse than what he was, I mean, people expect him to come out there and throw for 450. I don't see that happening.
Shannon, but you got to think about this, though, Shannon. It's the playoffs. You know everybody plays different in the playoffs, no matter how you look at it. Everybody comes in with a different mindset because it's either win or go home. Yeah. And I think when you're looking at the whole entire picture of what we're trying to do and what they're trying to do, I think that when Tom Brady comes out, it's going to be a physical ball game. I mean, you're seeing Leonard Fournette run the ball like he's never had before in the last 2 years. So you got to take that into consideration and see how things are going to go also.
But you make it seem like only the Tampa Bay is going to play with a sense of urgency. Only Tampa Bay is going to play with a certain new level of physicality. What do you think the Saints are bringing to the table? They realize that they wanted this This is why they brought Drew Brees back early. They felt the division slipping away. They didn't want to have this game in Tampa, Skip, even though the fan level, they wanted this game in New Orleans. So they brought Drew back early for this very moment. And they know this is going to be, if they lose this game, this is Drew Brees' last game. They laid it all on the line because they don't want this to be Drew Brees' last game. He came back for one reason. He didn't come back for it to end in the divisional round. He came back to be in Tampa. And so I expect for Tampa to play better, but I also expect New Orleans to play better.
So speaking of crow, that is what you're going to have to eat next Monday.
Okay.
After Tom Brady, I don't have any energy. I'm speaking matter of factly. Okay. Because you are making the case to me that what Tom Brady has done over the last 5 games is completely overrated because he has faced nothing but sorry pass defenses. Earlier in the show, you laid it all out.
Am I lying?
Okay? You're not, but you're missing the point and the boat on this because obviously this is the first time around for this whole group together. And it took a while because at 6-2, they threw Antonio Brown, who has a huge aura and personality and mystique about him. Yeah. They tried to force feed him into their rotation against New Orleans after 2 practices on that Sunday night. Yeah. And it was the worst beatdown of the year in pro football, given who it was against who it was.
Skip, that's like me going to Brad's Pro Shop and fishing in the stock pond and catching the fish and say, man, I'm doing a hell of a job. I should be able to do it. The pond is stocked. He should be able to put up those numbers against those sorry behind defenses. Go out there.
Okay. But obviously, if you'd never used that rod and reel before and you had to try to figure out on the, so to speak, fly, how do I work this? Tom Brady had all new teammates, all new coaching staff, and it was hit and miss for a long time until finally they hit their bye week. And it wasn't until December 6th. And in the 2 weeks, they said, let's fix this. And they have launched out of the bye week. I'm seeing play action. I'm seeing pre-snap motion.
I'm seeing bad defenses.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm glad you saw it because they needed to play bad defenses so they could figure it out. They needed to regain their confidence after Tom Brady had a QBR of 6. It was the worst game he has ever played in his career.
Think about what you just said, Skip. You said Tom Brady, the GOAT, needed to play bad defenses. We've never said that about anybody of the historically great. They need to play bad teams to get their confidence back.
Because he's a Buccaneer. He joined the Succaneers, the worst franchise in all of sports in winning percentage for its history. He said, I'll take that 7-9 team and I'll take it to the playoffs.
You told me at the beginning of the year, the Pro Football Focus ranked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers receiving corps the best group in all the football. That's what you told me.
I didn't tell you that. Pro Football Focus told
so you keep saying the sorry Succaneers, but he went to a team that had the best receiving corps.
Well, they had the highest graded receivers because 2 of them made the Pro Bowl. Did they make the Pro Bowl this year?
No.
No, they didn't because he taught them.
Did Tom make the Pro Bowl this year?
He should have.
No,
yes, he should have made it over Kyler Murray. You know it, and I know
I don't know nothing.
Oh, stop it.
No, I don't know anything.
Did he play better than Kyler Murray did this year?
That's not what the players said. That's not what the fans thought. That's not what the coaches and general
managers. The voting's in like 4 weeks before the season's over, and I don't get that, but whatever. If they let it finish to the last regular season game.
They do that with the All-Star games and football and basketball. They don't wait to the end of the season.
My pet peeve. If you had waited, if you had held the vote after the regular season ended, Tom Brady would have been the 3rd NFC quarterback on the Pro Bowl roster. You know it, and I know it. Yeah. So what happened right before your very eye-testing eyes is they clicked, they gelled against, I'll give you, bad competition, this sorry competition.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they took off. And they went to Washington, and they hung 507 yards on a defense that hasn't remotely given up that many yards all year.
Yeah.
A defense ranked third, graded third by Pro Football Focus going into that game, that wild card game last Saturday night. That was impressive to me. And Chris Godwin dropped 3 balls, or it would have been a whole lot more yards. Tom Brady was spectacular in that game, the way he's been down the stretch. They're going to go to New Orleans with supreme newfound confidence they did not have back on that fateful Sunday night at Tampa Bay.
Well, we got Crow back, so let me ask you this. Do you believe the Saints will have newfound confidence knowing that we've beaten them twice and we can beat them again?
I think they could be a little overconfident because I think they're going to see and feel, and I mean feel, a different physicality and a different confidence on offense from Tom Brady's offense. Go ahead, Crow.
I don't think it's just about the confidence that the Saints going to bring into it. I think they understand they're a division opponent. So when you're looking at the whole entire situation, they know them and they know each other. So now I think the newfound confidence is actually coming from Temple because they feel like they're on the same page. If you look at Week 9, they wasn't on the same page. There was routes, short routes that he was throwing picks on. People stopping on their routes, especially the one to Antonio Brown. The missed throw on he's trying to scramble and throw the ball away, through the interception to Malcolm Jenkins, the tip ball interception on the screen route to I think it was Jones or either Fournette. But you got to think with Tom Brady needs a running game, and when the running game is not working, the passing game is not going to work also. So when you can actually get the Jones and also Fournette running the ball well, I think that's going to open up underneath the routes. When you get Antonio Brown, you can get Godwin underneath throws, what they was doing against the Washington Redskins to get the ball down the field. You got to think Mike Evans came into this game injured, still had 6 catches, 116 yards, and he wasn't even 100%. And you saw that even after every single catch. So he wasn't even trying to run the ball down the field after every single catch.
Let me ask you a question, Crow. Which one of those corners do you say is comparable to Lattimore and Jackrabbit in Washington secondary?
Neither. I don't.
Right now, I've said this before the game. Any secondary that Ronald Darby's in is torchable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at this, Crow, and all those interceptions that we're showing the montage right now, what do we see Tom Brady under? Relentless pressure. And as long as they can generate that, it doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what those receivers do. If you can generate that kind of pressure, they're gonna be.
What you got, like I said before earlier, after we talked about this after Week 9, the biggest thing is it's that time clock that goes off in your head as a defensive back, knowing that the front four can get to them. But it's the same thing that went on in Washington. We said that the front four from Washington can get to them, and they barely even touched them. So it's like, what's the passing game, and what's the scheme going to be like up front that Bruce Arians and Brian Leftwich can put up to make sure the offensive line protects Tom Brady to the utmost.
The line, I thought Washington football team's defensive line, although they have higher profile players, I think the Saints front four are better because they're just better. I understand Chase Young was a second pick in the draft. You have Payne, you have Allen, you have Sweat, you have Kerrigan, but that front four of the Saints, they're more relentless, maybe because of the back end. And they know they get an extra step. But I'm anxious to see, and I agree with you, I'm anxious to see what's going to be the move and the counter move for each team. Because you know New Orleans want to pressure with their front four. Okay, what is Tampa going to do?